Hi, yogis. Hi, friends. Welcome back to practice. Welcome to our practice. It is a beautiful day here in Southwest Michigan, a little cold again, I think kind of like it is in San Francisco this morning. So as they say in India, I'm hugging my woolens. Definitely a little chilly. Gardens planted, everything is on fire here in a good way. All the flowers, everything is just magnificent. So welcome. I thought we'd take a minute here to just reflect on the state of our world, the state of the United States, the state of your state, the state of your town, of your block, of your own home. Maybe close your eyes for just a minute. So much going on in this world of ours. Thinking about the incident in Minnesota, thinking about our continued pandemic, thinking about all of our unemployed friends, thinking about all the hardships going on. And yet somehow we still try to find some light, some sweetness, and some joy. I know that this happens through my own practice, by coming to my mat and closing my eyes and finding my breath and trying to find that perspective. So for our class today, let's think about, again, all that's going on and try to find our collective consciousness, our like-mindedness, and hope that this sense outweighs the rest of what else is going on and what other people are thinking, and we can rise above and start to bring some empathy back to our world. There's a Sanskrit mantra called Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. One of my all-time favorites. It simply means, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to the freedom for all. Oh my goodness, what a time. I'm going to play the song that's just been released by my friend, and many of you know Janet Stone. She just released something this week, an album that listen to me, some iTunes that would be fantastic, and we'll give you the reference for you to have in your files. And Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu happens to be one of them. So we'll hear it at the end and hopefully inspire in you what it has inspired in me to be the best we possibly can. Let's see if we can find a place on our mats to begin the practice. And today our special guest is Tiffany. Tiffany's stepping out from the role of being the IT girl, and she's a yogi like me. She's going to take us through some foot and leg things before we stand up. And I thought we'd stand today because it's springtime and we'll do tree and all those kinds of things that remind us of spring. Okay. Come find your comfortable place. Our grounding, our platform, our stability. Maybe a moment in time here where we can go to our breath. And boy, that word, that sentence from this week about breath was so powerful. Let's see if we can find our breath here and share it. Find your sit bones attached to something comfortable, the earth, a blanket, a block. See if you can feel the roots, the tendrils as they go into the earth and help us to establish our place. You can feel the slightly tilted forward pelvic bowl. Sets up the alignment for the rest of the spine. And the pelvis is tilted forward, the low back begins its journey. The arch in the low back. Not excessive, but a lordosis. Take your hands to the bottom of the rib cage, draw the low ribs in. See if you can find that Uddiyana Bandha, that sense of a binding and hold of the bottom of the cage. So that when we bring our chest tall, again, what opens is the chest, the upper back. Take your elbows back behind you today. See if you can stretch them way back behind you. Open up the chest and the shoulder, the ball in the socket. And then go ahead and let the elbows release towards the hips, down towards the ground. Open receptive palms or closed palms, your choice. Maybe you can feel the back of your skull and your mind's eye aligned with your sacrum. The arch in the neck matching the arch in the low back. Supported behind us by our ancestors, by our stability. Take a moment here. See what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your bodies. Maybe there's something that you'd like to work on today. One of the cornerstones of yoga therapeutics is working on an actual something going on in your body, putting the thought and the energy into healing and trying to promote the release of the tensions and discomforts. So maybe address some of that today. Maybe it's just a day to find your breath and relieve your mind of some of the post-its, some of the debris. Let's go ahead and invite our breath. I suggest you inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhaling through the nose warms, hydrates, and purifies the air, the prana, the life force as we invite it in. We can feel this consciousness of the breath, taking in the sweetness and blowing out the exhaust. As you blow out through the pursed lips, you can hear and feel the exhaust as it leaves your body. In that debris, all of that physiological, mental exhaust. See if you can find where your breath is and see if you can distribute it from way down deep in your bellies, your diaphragm, up into the rib cage, and then up into the collarbones, the tops of the lungs. Let's sit for a minute or so, practicing again all around the world, see if we can find our like-mindedness. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs and cross them like bird wings, place them over your heart. Feel our hearts beating inside our chests. Maybe feel the warmth on the outside. Let's stop for a moment to feel our humanness. Blink the eyes open, look at the front of your mat. Bring the gaze back up, and let's offer it up. Take your arms up. As your arms come up, feel how your sit bones go deep into the earth. So we find the grounding. See if you can feel the side of the waist starting to lengthen. So we hold our arms up, maybe the ribs starting to Soften the muscles between the ribs, the intercostals, allowing them to separate. And take your arms out to the sides, palms up. Reach way out with the fingertips. Draw them back up again. Feel the side body lengthen. Interlace the fingers. And let's take the palms to the sky today. So you'll have little triangles of your little fingers and thumbs. Push it up to the heavens. Pull the low ribs in, bind in those low ribs, and see if you can back bend your upper back a little bit. Let's go to the left with the arms and to the right. Loosening the shoulder blades, feeling them start to free up, the waistline start to open. Inhale, and on the exhale, push the hands closer up to the heavens. Feel already what's starting to happen to our fabric, right? Take your hands, push them together. Inhale, on the exhale, come down through main central, third eye, tip of the nose, lips, throat, onto your big heart. Spin the hands to the ground, right into the neck we go. Fingertips touch the earth. Inhale, and on the exhale, right hand will hold the earth, soften. The weight of your head and gravity does the work. Your attention to the spot, the sensation, assists in the release. Close your eyes, allow that ear to soften towards the shoulder. Inhale, and on your exhale, take the right ear up towards the sky like a string is pulling up on your ear. Hold it for a moment, and then release it, and your ear will soften towards your shoulder. Let's do a little flexion extension now. So up and down with the chin, like you're carving out your own path there. See if that helps to kind of find your release spot and allow the ear to go a little softer. Beautiful. Inhale your head back up, and on the exhale, reverse. Left hand will hold the floor. Ear will soften towards shoulder, head. Weight of the head and gravity doing the work. Inhale. Exhale, take the left ear up towards the sky. Left side of the neck will contract. Soften. Right ear towards right shoulder. Do the same. Flexion extension or chin down, chin up. Kind of finding the little grooves for all the vertebrae to fit into and the muscles to soften. And go ahead and let the ear move towards the shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale the head up to center. Exhale, left hand turn, chin on horizon line. Keep it up on the horizon line. See if you can find that rotation. Let's do the same thing again. Flex and X, flexion extension. See if you can use that as your fine tuning to bring it around. It's your spine, the connective tissues, it's the muscles, all working together. Inhale, and on the exhale, around to the right. Take it around slowly. See if you can find the opening. Do your chin up and chin down at the end. Inhale it back to center. Exhale through that beautifully mowed path. Let's go deeper. Inhale, exhale, take the chin out towards or to the left shoulder point. Right hand stays down. Get a yummy stretch the whole right side of the neck. Inhale the head back up, and on the exhale around to the right. Chin stays up on horizon line. Inhale, exhale, left hand holds the floor. Bring the chin out towards or to the right shoulder point. Inhale back to center, and on the exhale, let the chin descend into the jugular notch between the two collarbones. We know this is all coming from the neck. Try not to let the chest drop forward, but instead see if you can feel the stretch up into the back of your skull. Let's trace the chin now. Inhale, on your exhale, trace your chin along the line of your collarbone, right collarbone. Take it around. Chin stays on collarbone for safety. Maybe you can find the end of it by your shoulder blade. Inhale back through center, and on the exhale around to the left. Chin stays on collarbone. Take it around. And inhale back through center. Exhale, we'll lift the head. Push the heart forward. Lift the crown of the head to the sky. See if you can open the heart, and the head will slowly lower back, trying to find the opening right behind your heart, pushing it towards the sky. No pain in the neck, no dizziness allowed, otherwise allow that head to release back. There's a lot of beautiful movement and extension in our cervical spine and our necks. Beautiful. Pull your head back up, center position. Cross your legs, opposite way now, your uncommon cross. Let's take our arms up for our cactus arms. Widespread fingers, elbows out to the side of the room. Inhale, exhale, hitchhiker shoulders. Many of you know this now. Thumbs go back, external rotation, come forward. Internal rotation, marry the breath with the movement, inhaling up, exhaling back, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhale back up. On the exhale, do your fly machine arms. They come together. Palms turn to face you. Inhale. Exhale, push the sides of the hands and the elbows together. An isometric press. Take them up. Take the arms up as high as they go, as long as you can still keep the elbows pressed together. When the elbows start coming apart, pause. And take the elbows apart. Index and middle touch. See your fingers as wide, abducted as possible. Inhale, and on your exhale, draw them down through that thick fluid. Elbows into side pockets. Let's do that a few times. Warm up our upper backs. Lubricate the shoulders. Perfuse the blood through the tissues. Beautiful. Elbows into side pockets, right into our light bulb hands. Pronating, supinating the forearms, making it as free as possible. To our queen wave. Then up over the head for the hallelujah arms. Bring them back down and shake them out. Good. Warm up the cuff, bring the arms out, find your tennis balls, flap your wings. Find the beautiful strength and stability in your shoulders. Let's touch the earth and fly back up. Nice, easy floating arms, as elegant as possible. We'll fly right into our eagle arms, right on top, left on bottom. Fingers of left, press palm of right. Keep the press of the finger to the palm for stability. Inhale. On your exhale, take the right elbow into the left. We don't lean forward, but we move from our shoulder blades, these dissociated movements, warming up all the parts. Pull the blades back on the inhale, and on the exhale, pull them way back and retract them like you're pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Bring them back to neutral on the inhale, and on the exhale, make a right hand turn with your arms. Take them around to the right. Let's today go ahead and follow our hands with our eyes. So take the head around on this one too. Inhale back, nose follows thumb. Exhale, take it to the left, arms first. And then let your head follow. Bring them all back to center on the inhale. And on the exhale, drop the elbows down. So don't flex the spine yet. See if you can find this unusual movement here, a beautiful stretch of the back body. And then go ahead and flex the spine. And see if you can put your left elbow down towards your belly button. Let your head go. Feel all that flexion. Inhale up to neutral. On the exhale, please engage the low ribs. Keep those low ribs in, and then just bring the elbows up. As the elbows come up, you'll see your shoulder blades will start to rise, and the spine will start to move now. Go ahead and move the spine as if a hand is pushing behind your heart. Direct the elbows to the sky, and the middle part of the back behind the heart. Up it goes. Maybe let your head back a bit. Oh, yummy. Inhale, arms back to neutral. Release the arms down. Let's take them up the opposite, left on top, right on bottom. Fingers to palm, palm to fingers. Inhale, exhale, take left into right, draw it forward. Inhale back to neutral, and on the exhale, pinch the blades together. Take it back to neutral on the inhale, and on the exhale, right hand turn with the arms. Take the arms around first, and then turn your head. See if you can continue that rotation. Bring them both back to center on the inhale, and on the exhale, keep the gaze forward to start. Take a left hand turn with the arms, and turn your head. Bring it all back to center on the inhale, and on the exhale, drop the elbows first. Feel that stretch behind. Then elbows go towards belly button, right elbow. Start to round the upper back and let the head drop. Inhale back up, keep the lower ribs engaged. Take the elbows up. Shoulder blades first start to slide. And the hand, imaginary hand behind your heart, direct the heart to the sky, open that upper back. Elbows towards the sky, and maybe you'll let your head release back. Beautiful. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the hands. Take your hands L shape on tops of your thighs. Push the thighs down. Inhale. On the exhale, with the thighs pressed down, when you start to come forward, your pelvis is rolling over the fixed thighs. So try not to let the chin lead. Keep the chin slightly tucked. Start to come forward. Thighs are down, low back arched. Take your hands out in front of you now. Hands go down on the ground. Widespread fingers, and see if you can maybe drop your elbows towards the earth. Hands and elbows touch the earth or some props. And from that, find the length to your whole spine here. Like a hood ornament, right? The crown of your head reaching out towards the top of your mat. Beautiful. Inhale yourself back up. Tall sit position, right into our side stretch now. Have your block to the right. You might need it for your elbow. Right hand out. Same concept. Left hand holds the thigh down. Inhale. On the exhale, start to drop the right elbow towards the earth. The left sit bone stays down. Waistline lengthens. Imagine pulling your shirt from your waistband. See what you can dock into. It's the ground or a prop of sorts. Take your left thumb into your armpit and use that as the impetus to lengthen and rotate to look up. Right hand and elbow press the earth. That keeps stability. Inhale the left hand up. On the exhale, come cross. Reach over. Feel that yummy stretch, the whole left side of your body, taking the warm iron to the fabric, lengthening it back out. Maybe let the right ear release towards the right shoulder. Inhale yourself back up. Bring your block with you, and on the exhale, do the other side. Left hand down to the floor. Right hand holds the thigh down. You'll inhale, and on your exhale, drop your left elbow. Sit bone stays down on the right side, so the release is lateral, right side of your body. Put the thumb into the armpit, look up, roll back. Inhale the right hand up, and on the exhale, watch the hand as it comes across. Again, your left hand and elbow for stability, reach out. Maybe let the left ear release towards left shoulder. Inhale yourself back up, tall sit position. Take the right hand on the left knee and the left hand behind you. Use that to help to open the system, nice and tall. Inhale, and on the exhale, gently using your hands to help to start a little twist, taking it around. Inhale back, use your windmill arms, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind. Start your twist. We'll do a few of those. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, release them. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Start your twist. Inhale them back. To center. All right. I know you're there, Tiffany. I'm going to let you take over now. We'll do some feet and hand stuff. get them warmed up so that when I stand them up, our legs will be nice pillars of support. It's all you, girl.
Thank you, Harvey. Let's see here. Okay. Thanks again, Harvey, for just your words of acknowledgement. This is certainly a very raw time for us and time for evaluation. So I'm going to lead you all through just a fascia release in our feet and work our way up into our Achilles tendon and our calf muscle. So let's all start in Virasana, hero's pose. So go ahead and come forward onto your hands. Step your right foot into the center and take your left foot and place it on top of your right foot. So you're sitting back on your left foot, on your right foot. And this bony protrusion on the top of your foot should be square in the middle of the arch of your right foot. And this should be quite sensational, especially for those with very tired feet. Go ahead and breathe through this. That's the most important part. This should not be painful. So what we're doing is we're applying pressure to our fascia so that it can go ahead and get back into its slide and glide properties. A lot of times when we have tense feet, the fascia gets stuck there. So what we're doing is we're just smoothing it out. And this is a great thing to do if you don't have therapy balls, these little guys. Even though I have therapy balls, I like to still do this stretch because it feels different. So after you're here for a few breaths, go ahead and just move the left foot downstream on the right foot, like half an inch. So you're in a different spot, higher up on the arch or lower down on the arch, and sit back. And if this is a little too much for you, go ahead and get a blanket and put it underneath the thighs and sit back on that. That should help a little bit. Breathe some more. And don't forget to drink water after this because fascia requires hydration to function. And after a few breaths here, go ahead and move the left foot up the right foot and sit back. So if you guys are squirming because of how sensational it is, that's okay, that's normal. I happen to do this every day, so I quite like the sensation. You'll get used to it over time. So now that you've experienced a range of locations, go ahead and rest where it's most sensational for you. So for me, it's slightly lower from the midpoint of my arch. Meet your sensations with a sense of presence and attunement. And learn that we can only move through things with presence if we want to really create everlasting change in our health and in the world. Okay, so come forward onto your hands and tuck the toes. Go ahead and sit back into broken toe stretch. That should feel really good. And notice the difference between your right foot and your left foot here. If you're like me, my left foot is screaming to get a nice long stretch. So come back into Virasana. We're going to bring the left foot to center and stack the right foot over the left. Plopping down that bony protrusion. I know there's a technical name for it, Harvey, but I forget it right now. Plop that right into your arch. And right away, you'll notice a difference, especially if you've had injuries on one foot or one leg versus the other. Go ahead and breathe into that opening into your feet. I kind of also like to rock back and forth. Go ahead and slide the right foot down the left, just a tiny bit. Again, grab your blanket and put it underneath your thighs if you need it. Now take the right foot up the left a little bit so that you're closer to your heel and sit back. And don't forget to breathe. Maybe smile if you feel a lot of pressure and heat in your face building up, like I sometimes do when I do this. Okay, so come forward, tuck the toes, and sit back into your broken toe stretch. This should feel quite good. Hopefully different than when you normally go into broken toe stretch cold. Okay, so now come forward, and we are going to now cross the left shin over the right calf. And staying on our hands here, we're just going to sit back slightly so that your shin, your left shin, is exerting some pressure onto your right calf, your gastrocnemius. Go ahead and rock back and forth. Give yourself a nice massage. And now let that left shin travel down your right leg, rocking back and forth as you go. And let's rest here with the lower shin resting over the right Achilles tendon. So tendons and ligaments do not stretch. They're not supposed to stretch. What we can do to help them find release is to do just this. All right, let's come forward onto all fours. Shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. And let's come into our calf stretch here. So step right foot back, draw the heel back, bring the back of the right knee, the popliteal space, up towards the ceiling. Feel the right quad contract to get a nice stretch in the right hammy. All right, step right knee forward. We're now going to cross the right shin over the left calf. Sit back. Rock and roll. And go ahead and drag the right shin down the left leg, rocking and rolling as you go. Pausing with the right shin resting over the left Achilles. You can stay on your hands if you need the support, if it's too much pressure, or you can go hands-free. Notice what happened to your breath. Okay, now come forward to all fours. Go ahead and step left foot back. Draw the heel back. Back of left knee up towards the ceiling. Feel that left quad contract so that your left hamstring can stretch. Maybe rock it forward and back. Go ahead and sit back into Virasana. So now you guys should be ready for your Tadasana. Thanks, Harvey. Back to you.
Thanks, Tiffany. Wow, that was awesome. I could really feel the release in my calves and all. So let's come stand up. We'll do Tadasana and then move into a bunch of standing poses. So find your place. Find the grounding of your feet first. Big toes touch. Knuckles of the big toes and take your heels slightly apart. Look down at your feet and see if you can see the grounding. Lift and fan the toes. There we go. See the color of the mat between the toes. So we just warmed up our feet and our legs to enliven. Big toe knuckle, little toe knuckle, heel press the earth. The cuboid bone on the outside of the foot presses into the earth. We find our feet, we find our stability. Remember, mobility on stability. We don't want to move anything, especially if you're going to pick up another leg, unless this stance leg is stable. Tighten your quads, give you some pillars to stand on. Take your hands under the tops of your thighs and push the thighs back. We know as the thighs push back, we find an arch in the low back. We want that. Descend the tailbone straight down to the earth so you untuck the pelvis a little bit, but we're not pushing it all the way forward. You'll feel your low belly engage. Tighten your glutes with maybe 20% of your power. Take your hands back behind you for your presentation arms. Little fingers will touch the thighs. From the elbows down, turn the palms to face the thighs now and move the little middle fingers down towards your heels or the outside ankle bones. And at the same time, the head rises to the sky. Close your eyes for a moment, find that stability. We're not marble statues. You can waver about, but we hold our form, our stability. All right, we'll keep coming back to Tadasana. Let's do something called museum back. I haven't done this one in a while. It's called museum back because you're not allowed to sit down on the floor in a museum. I don't know if you know that. And what do you do if you want to stretch your back? This. Stand with your feet hip distance apart. They're Tadasana feet, they're just apart. Go ahead and bend the knees. Arch the back significantly. And go ahead and let your rib cage release down towards your thighs. So this is what it feels like to forward bend when your hamstrings are not so influenced in the equation here. Let your hands release to the floor, to some blocks, to something, your shins, and let the crown of your head now soften to the earth. Shake your head yes and no. See if you can work out some of the kinks there. And now each one of us has different lengths to our hamstrings. So I suggest that you keep your mind on keeping your pelvis in place, inhale, and on your exhale, try to straighten your left leg a bit without letting the pelvis shift so much and start to warm up the left hamstring. Bend the left knee on the inhale, and then straighten the right leg on the exhale.
So yes, there will be some movement in the pelvis and in the back, but most of it should just be in the knee and the hip as you start to open up your hamstrings and find the length. Go ahead and do that a few times back and forth. You don't have to straighten the legs at any point. If your hamstrings are loose enough, you'll start to feel, or as your hamstrings loosen up, you'll start to feel, okay, I can get my legs to straighten out a bit. Pause here for a moment, either bent knees or straight knees, and see if you can let the crown of the head go a little deeper towards the earth. Put your thumbs into your hip creases. Inhale, and on your exhale, very slowly, come stand up, tall position. Bend your knees a little bit and take your hands on the backs of your legs. And just pound your hamstrings for a moment. We've got an arch in our back here. Nobody's bent over. Just pound the hamstrings for a moment. Then come onto your quads and do a little clapping. And back onto the hamstrings. Do your forward fold again and see, does that feel any different? Just bringing some awareness to our spots. Thumbs to the hip creases again. Draw yourself up. Let's go right into our Pez block sequence. Lots of you know this. Take your block high up into the groin. This is quarter, half, three-quarter, full range of motion. All goes back to Tadasana. Our feet are enlivened. We're in touch with all of that now. See if you can find your feet pressed into the earth, grounded and lifting. Block in the front, hands on the pelvis. Let's back bend first. Inhale. On the exhale, find your feet, squeeze the block, start to push it forward. Use your hands on your pelvis to posteriorly tilt and keep the elbows in. The movement is extension from our low backs pretty much. That's 1/4 of the range. Inhale yourself back up to center. On the exhale, find the feet, anteriorly tilt the pelvis, and come down just 1/4 of the distance. Push the block back behind you. It's all low back. Inhale back up again. Squeeze the block. Push it forward. Extend from the low back. Elbows pull in. And then move it up to the bottom of the rib cage. See if you can find some extension there. Hands pressing down to give you your stability. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Squeeze the block, take it back behind you, and come down to your 90 degrees of hip flexion, perhaps. Low back arched, upper back mostly flat, and the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Pull the elbows in. Inhale back up. Exhale, squeeze the block, take it forward. Posteriorly rotate the pelvis, low back, bottom of the rib cage, the hand behind the heart, opening the heart. Don't let the head back yet. The chin still stays tucked. Inhale back up. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Find your Tadasana feet. Find your hamstring length. Flex the hips, come down, low back, upper back. And then see if you can flex the hips a bit more. Keep the spinal curves and bring your chest towards your thighs. Maybe you'll release your hands onto your shins. Crown of the head now can release towards the earth. Inhale back up. Exhale, squeeze the block, push it forward. Go back through your Tadasana legs, elbows in, low back, bottom of ribs. Hand behind heart, and this time let the head release back maybe for your expression of full extension. Inhale back up. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, squeeze the block, take it back behind you. All the muscles we need for decelerating will lower us down to the earth. Kind of museum back, like bend your knees if you need to, if your hamstrings are not tolerating this. And release the crown of the head, and your hands need to touch something. Maybe it'll be the floor, your shins, or some blocks. Try to be balanced evenly on your feet, the balls of the feet and the heels, and then go ahead and let the crown of the head go. We're not rounding the low back. The block squeeze, press back behind you, keeps alignment. Inhale yourself back up. On the exhale, release the block, put it down on the floor. And I'd like you to flow through maybe 5 or 6 forward back bends on your own. Not so much looking what I'm doing, giving you some suggestions maybe. Hands in main central. You can do your swan arms, see what's right for you. Enjoy it. 5 or 6 of them. Inhaling. Exhaling in the forward bend. The fake block is still in there, keeping us so stable and in touch with our muscles. Bringing yourself back around. Coming back up for your expression of extensions. Go ahead and breathe through a few more on your own. Let's meet back in standing position. A little bit more warmed up now. Let's move into chair pose. Take your feet hip distance apart. Press your feet into the earth, Tadasana. Inhale your arms up. And let's pause here. Pull the low ribs in. And like we just did, back bend your upper back now. So don't go too far into your low back. Take it in your upper back that's nice and warmed up. Inhale. And on your exhale, bend your knees, sit your buttocks back. The Vermont ski jumper here, middle fingers touch the earth. The arms go back behind us. Sit your buttocks back, trying to get your hamstrings parallel to the earth. Take the little fingers higher up to the sky. Take your ribs off your thighs now. Shine your heart to the front of the room. Open the chest. And the elbows are decoration now. They skirt by the ears. Notice if your upper back is rounded, you will not get your elbows to your ears, and don't force it. Work on opening the upper back, and the elbows will go by the ears. Inhale up. Push your feet down into the earth. Exhale, pull the low ribs in, back bend your upper back. Inhale again. On the exhale, come forward. Vermont ski jumper. Middle finger scrape the earth. Take the arms back behind. Take the palms now up to the sky. See if you can touch your palms to the ceiling. Ribs off thighs. Heart shines forward. Open the heart chakra to chin. Inhale the arms up. Exhale and take them back behind you. Open up. See if you can feel your glutes working more than your quads. Inhale back up. One more time. Exhale back bend. Inhale. Exhale, make it smooth. Come on down. Sit your buns back. Take the hands back. Ribs. Heart, head, arms. See if maybe you can roll onto the balls of your feet now. Different muscles, soleus working now. See if you can come up like a ballerina on point and stand on the balls of your feet. Take your hands to main central. Release the hands and heels at the same time. Go right back into a forward fold for a moment. Warmed up. Inhale back up. Standing position. Okay. Let's have a little bit of education, and then we're going to really find our glutes today. Our gluteus medius and our gluteus maximus, and our standing legs for tree. There's something called first ray plant that I'd love you to all know. The first ray is a functional unit in your foot. your big toe and the metatarsal bone that comes up. So stand on your mat, and without my instruction, just step forward onto your right foot and then step back. Do that a few times, onto the right and back, and then to the left, onto the left and back, onto the left and back. What is it that you're thinking about as you take your right foot forward and you find that leg, that stance? What I'd love you to think about is, as the big toe knuckle touches the ground, the same side buttock muscle, glute, fires up. Here's what I'd love it to look like. As you step forward onto your left foot, pretend you're walking somewhere, maybe even in sand unstable. If your hip doesn't fire, your glutes, you get wobbly. So try it. Step forward onto right foot, and as the big toe knuckle hits the ground, fire up your glute and see if you can find that that leg is so much more stable. So it's a chain of events. The foot hits the ground, the butt has to fire right into the core to find our stability. Hopefully this will make a ton of sense now in a moment as I guide you through this gluteus medius work. Okay, step back on your mat, and then we'll step forward, right foot first. Step forward onto your right foot. Heel goes down. Big toe, little toe, cuboid bone, the outside of the foot. It's Tadasana. Come forward onto that leg. Okay. Purposefully let your right hip drop off to the side. That's what happens when this gluteus muscle is weak on the side. What we want to do is fire up the muscle so that the pelvis comes on top of the thigh. Notice how my pelvis is shifted here, right? So we're shifting the pelvis on top of the thigh. We've got a stable foot because we know about our Tadasana foot, and see if maybe you can pick up your opposite leg without too much wobbling. So if the wobbling is starting, anchor your foot and anchor your hip. If this is still too much, go to a wall and hold the wall. Why the wall? Stability. It's not moving. Okay, guys, step back, left foot. Put your heel down, cuboid down. This is now the stance leg. Concentrate on holding this hip stable as you step back. Yes, with your right foot. Do the same thing left side. Step forward on the left foot. Heel, big toe, little toe, cuboid. Transfer the weight. Still keep it on the right foot down for a moment. Let's be sloppy. Let that hip drop. Then pull it in. Use the muscle to pull the pelvis on top of the thigh, and then lift your leg. It also depends on what kind of surface you're standing on. I normally practice on a hardwood floor. There's a carpeting underneath me. That's instability. I can feel that my muscles are having to work that much harder. So know the surface that you're on, depending on your weakness or your stability. Step back on the right foot, find that stability, take the left foot back behind you. We'll continue on. We'll start to add a few more things to this. If you're finding you're very wobbly, please use a wall or maybe even a dowel, stick out in front of you. Okay, step forward, right foot. Big toe, little toe, heel. Transfer the weight forward onto your right leg. Hold stability in your hip, and then draw the left knee up. You can take your arms out now for some balance if you feel like you're a little wobbly. The concentration is still on the right hip for stability, but straighten your left knee and then bend it. So what you're doing here is trying to throw your center of gravity off by extending your lever arm of your leg. But we're so concentrated on the right leg that hopefully it's not quite so wobbly. Step back, left foot. Find your stable platform. Step back, right foot. Do it again. Left side. Step forward. Big toe, little toe, heel, cuboid. Transfer the weight. Find your foot and hip stability. Bring the right leg up. You can take your arms out again for some balance if you need. Straighten out the right leg and bend it. Straighten it and bend it. Straighten it, bend it. Step back, right foot. Find stability, transfer weight back. Okay, let's do another round.
This time, we'll move the leg even more. If you feel like this has already been challenging, maybe just stick with what we've already done. Step forward, right foot. Transfer the weight. Left leg comes up. Arms in balance. Straighten the left leg. Take left leg behind you now. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what we're doing here. It's a horse pawing in a pasture. So try not to move the spine. I want to really activate my glute max to take me back behind me, and then see if you can hold that stability as you come forward again. You can make horse noises if you like. Nobody can hear you, so be as silly as you'd like to, and see if you can find stability on right while mobility on left. And whether you know it or not, this is kind of simulating a normal gait pattern for us humanoids. Good. Step back on your left foot. Bring the weight back. Find your stability. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of burn on the side of your hip here. That's where your gluteus medius muscle is. Okay, kids, let's do the other side. Step forward, left foot. Big toe, little toe, heel. Transfer the weight. Draw the knee up. Find your stable arms. Inhale. Exhale, take it forward. Concentrate on your left hip more than your right, and find this hip flexion extension, knee flexion extension, ankle flexion extension, just like in our gait pattern. So when you take a walk, if you feel like you're getting fatigued so quickly, it's probably because all your parts are not stabilizing and you're overusing. Like driving a car with an emergency brake, half engaged, you'll get there, but your fuel will be very inefficient. You get the idea. Step back, step back. Good, take your feet apart, go into a little forward fold again. See what that feels like now that we've warmed up and given our hips some sense of stability. I know I can feel a little easier getting my body parts back down to the floor. Okay, springtime, got our trees going. Let's step into tree. Some of the same principles, slightly different. Right foot, step forward. So it's going to be a while till you get into tree. Step forward onto right foot, find that stability. Pick up your left leg, and then let's take the opposite arm up, left one down. Touch the sky with the right fingertips, the floor with the left. See if you can reverse it back and forth and still hold the stability of that right leg. So again, now we're moving our arms rather than our legs, trying to throw us off. Looking good. Hands to the pelvis, step back. Step back. Hence, stepping into tree. Let's do it. Left foot forward. Find your balance. Keep the glute active. Take the knee up. Left arm up, right hand down. Find those opposite forces. Keep the core stable and move the arms. Concentration, left hip. If you're wobbly, again, use a wall or just realize these muscles haven't worked like this maybe in a long time. So it'll take a bit. Hands back to the pelvis, step back, step back. Okay. Step forward, right foot. Transfer the weight. Your brain is starting to get the idea now. Oh, this is what we want. Take that up. Take both arms up. See if you can find your balance with both arms up. Lower them to your side. Take them back up. Again, your concentration is on the right hip and your core and your right foot as you're trying to distract your bod with your arms. Step back, left foot. Step back, right foot. Step forward, left foot. Transfer the weight. Find your stability. Pull up the right leg. Lefty up, righty down, and take them both up. See if you can find that. Arms, big long bird arms. And step back, step back. I think we're ready for tree.
Before I step into tree, two things I want to say. Try not to use your arms. Use your muscles to bring your hip to the position that it wants to go in. You can come to model stance. Somewhere that foot will end up on the inner thigh. It's okay if your knee is on the inside, your foot is on the inside of your knee, unless you've got a totally blown out side of your knee. It's a cue that lots of people have said in the past, don't ever put your foot on the inside of your knee. I don't believe in that. So let's go for it. You're going to step forward onto your right foot. Same exact thing, guys. Transfer the weight. Find the stability. Take your left leg up. We just did it a whole bunch, right? Take that left knee now and take it out to the side. See wherever that foot lands, push it into the knee and then push the knee into the foot, and your whole pelvis will open here. Find your stability in your hip and take your hands to your heart. Find a drizzy or a gaze. Maybe you'll take your arms up for tree. Wiggle the branches. Bring your hands back to center. Take your knee forward. Step back. Step back. Use a wall, use a dowel. Use whatever you need to find your stability. Okie doke. Left foot forward. Transfer the weight. Find your stability in your hip before you pick up your leg. Take the right knee out to the side, and wherever that foot lands, let it land. Push the foot to the thigh and the thigh to the foot. Find the stability. Take your hands to your heart. Maybe take them up for your tree pose. Wiggle your branches. Take your hands back to your heart. Knee comes to center. Step back, feet apart. Dissolve into your forward fold again. This time, hang down there. Knees straight, knees bent, whatever's right for you. Take your thumbs into your elbow creases. Let the crown of the head release to the earth and use your hands to pull the elbows really long down on the floor, towards the floor. Identify where you're holding maybe your hamstrings. See if you can soften, let the fabric go. Release your hands, see where they're at now. Bend the knees, put the thumbs into the hip creases. And let's go ahead and push ourselves back up. Okay, let's do triangle today. Have your blocks. Triangle, a beautiful pose done the right way. Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, so stand on your mat, have the block to the right side, and put your right foot so your toes are kind of in front of the block, and your left foot steps back. You want to have maybe about 3 foot difference. There's another way to do this. We can do it with our wrists. Sorry for the camera stuff here, kids. Okay. Right foot back, left foot. There we go. Okay. Take your arms up and look at your right wrist. Right wrist should be over the right ankle. Left wrist over the left ankle. So that's about the distance. Your back foot is angled in 45 degrees, but your pelvis ideally is flush here. So if you take your hands on the front of the pelvis, you don't bump into it because it's not twisted. It's already in a forward position. You've got Tadasana legs here. Lift and fan your toes. Find your stable legs. Push down with your hands to the earth, and as you push down with your hands, the heart rises, the crown of the head rises. Take your hands to your waistline, onto your pelvis. Keep the left hand on the pelvis. Take the right hand onto the top of the thigh. You're now on your thigh bone. Inhale. On the exhale, push that right hand deep into the thigh, and the bone will move back, and look what happens. You want to just start to drape over for your triangle. Keep the pelvis forward again and continue your drape. Let's do that same cowboy, cowgirl thumb we did at the start. As you start to bow into this, use that hand to rotate, and then release the right hand down onto your block, onto your shin, onto the floor, whatever's best for you. We back bend now from the ribs up.
So don't move the pelvis, but roll the ribs back. Look up. Maybe you need to keep your gaze forward. Do what's right for you and see if you can extend the left hand up. Push with the right hand and your feet into the earth, and look what happens. We find this stability, this tadasanized body. Your glutes are working here too. Maybe you can let go of your prop and just find this beautiful triangulation. Good. In a moment, I'll ask you to come up. You'll inhale and bring your block with you. Find your stable legs so you don't wobble. Inhale up. And on the exhale, turn the feet. And let's do the opposite side. Block will go down on the floor. Your left foot, kind of the line of your toes at the bottom of the block. Right leg goes back and it's angled in. Look at that back leg. Toes are angled towards the front of the mat. They're not completely turned in, but they're angling towards the front of the mat. Find your flat pelvis. Lift and fan the toes. Your triangle is nothing without your strong legs. You got it. Push down, lift up. Hands to the waistline, to the pelvis. Right hand on pelvis, left hand on thigh. Inhale. On the exhale, reaffirm your legs. Stable, strong triangle legs. Start to drape. The chest stays forward to start. Thumb into armpit. Use that to lengthen and start to a little bit of rotation. The left hand will slide down. Will come onto your block, to your shin, to the floor, whatever is good for you. Pull the low ribs in. Maybe you'll look up. Maybe you keep your gaze forward. Express open the arm. Use the left hand to press into the earth, to your prop, to whatever you're using. And if you can find those strong legs, core, and glutes, maybe you can let go of your block and find your triangle. That's a lot of work. Inhale, bring your block back up with you. Exhale, turn the feet, make it as elegant as possible. Put your block back down again and go back into your triangle. So less words from me on this side. See if you can maybe remember some of what I just said or how you normally practice your triangle and glide in. Find your feet. Find your core. Find your hip stability. Float yourself down into your triangle. See what the second round feels like. Your brain has already educated your body. Should be maybe a little bit easier to find your pose. Becomes second nature. See if maybe you'd like to do extended triangle today. Inhale, and on your exhale, find all those stable legs, right? And take your left arm over the crown of your head and reach out, maybe even look out towards that left hand. Inhale back up to Trikonasana triangle and pull yourself back up, bring your block with you. Switch to the other side. Block on the outside of the left foot, you know what you're doing. And if you don't, this is why we practice. Remember, it's not always supposed to be a choreographed thing, but more giving you some nice cues and then you taking over. So move into your triangle, float into your triangle. There we go. And if you'd like to, do the extended triangle, taking the right arm up overhead. Pause there for a moment. Find all your pieces. Triangle's a beautiful pose done the right way. Good, guys. Pull yourself back up, tall position, and then go ahead and turn the toes in. Or sorry, not in, but forward. Toes in, heels out, springs the ankles, in my opinion. So I like the feet forward and then just really wide with your block out in front of you. So we'll do a forward fold here with wide straddle legs. Take your hands back onto your pelvis, onto your waistline, and then onto your pelvis, and then onto your thighs. Okay, let's see if we can just move our thighs. We're going to internally rotate them. Inhale, On the exhale, you've got Tadasana feet. They've got to stay grounded, especially the cuboid bones, and then start to internally rotate the thighs. Look what happens here. Our pelvis rolls over our fixed thighs. Come down to that 90-degree point, 90 degrees of hip flexion, arch in the back. Take your hands out onto the block in front of you. Maybe you'll take your feet a little bit wider. Press the feet into the earth. Again, you got nothing without your Tadasana legs. Arch the low back. Feel the decompression in the back, and then bring the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Pause here for a moment. Feed into what needs to be released. Maybe you can start to bend the elbows a little bit. We're flexing at our hips, right? We're not rounding our spines. Maybe you'll flip the block down to the next level. Continue. Hamstrings and adductors, inner groin starting to release. The hips again, internally rotating. Go ahead and try that again. Internally rotate those hips. And then see if you can let the crown of the head release. And your hands maybe will align with your toes. So fingertips and toe tips aligned, elbows pulling in towards each other. Drive the elbows back towards the knees and let the crown of the head soften to the earth. Lift up, crown of head, and let's do a little rotation now. See if you can keep your sit bones to the back of the room. What's going to rotate? Your left hip is going to internally rotate. Let's try it. Internally rotate the left hip and start to roll the rib cage and look towards that right knee. Perhaps you can take your left hand over by the right toes and maybe your right hand on the outside of your ankle. Keep the left sit bone pushed to the back of the room and rotate through the rib cage. See if you can look right at your knee. Some of you might be able to touch your nose to your knee. Let's inhale it back through center. And on the exhale, the right hip will internally rotate. Rotate the rib cage around to look at the left knee and walk the hand, left hand outside, left foot, maybe right hand on the toes. Rotate through the rib cage, bring it around. Nice. Let's take it back to center. Jump your feet together or hip distance apart and put your heels down on the ground. You might need to put a blanket underneath your heels. You might have to have your toes slightly turned out. This is a beautiful back decompression. So from the side, the perineum drops right towards the floor, and we try to keep somewhat of an arch, in the low back. Take the elbows inside the knees, thumbs around the heart. Inhale. On your exhale, squeeze your knees towards your elbows, and at the same time, push your elbows out into the knees very slowly. It's an amazing decompression for your whole low back. Release. Inhale. Exhale. Push the elbows out, squeeze the knees in. Something magic happens on our low back, lumbar spine. And release. Let's go right into open book and chalk trace. So just so you can see better what's happening, start on your right side. Hips, knees, and ankles 90 degrees. Take a block behind your low back so you don't dump into the low back and touch your palms together. Your head can be resting on your shoulder or on a ground or on the prop. Inhale. On your exhale, slide your left hand up your right forearm onto your bicep and have it come to rest on your chest. Take the left elbow straight up to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, watch the block that you don't knock the block over, but instead roll from the rib cage and start to bring that around. In order to get a little bit more rotation in our low back, in our thoracic spines, bend your right elbow. Fingers to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, push the right elbow down into the earth, rotate through the heart, and see if you can roll that left shoulder a little closer towards the earth. Do it one more time. Inhale, exhale, push the right elbow down, lift and rotate, and then unfurl the arms like flags. Pause there for a moment. Inhale the left hand up. Grab the cloud off the sky, imprint it onto the right palm.
slide the left hand forward. Inhale. On the exhale, slide the hand up onto the bicep, onto the chest. Left elbow comes up. Move your block out of the way. And then pick your legs up and roll over onto your left side to complete the book. Inhale. Exhale, draw through it again. Lift the legs with the strength of your core as your hand comes around. And back down you go. We'll do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, draw the hand up. Pull the belly in. Use your strong core. Roll your legs and roll over onto your left side. Right hand slides. Draw it back up. Legs come up. We end up on the right side again. Right into chalk trace now. Inhale. On the exhale, have your thumb and index touch the ground on the left hand, and we trace it up over the crown of the head, a big semicircle. If you can't hold your hand on the ground to complete the revolution, then don't complete the revolution. Inhale, and on your exhale, trace it back up again. Take it all the way around. Move the props. We'll do one more. Inhale. Exhale, take it up overhead and around. Inhale, exhale, take it up and around. Let's use our strong core. Pull the legs up and roll over onto your left side. Start with the block just to remind you to keep your low back out of it. Block goes behind lumbosacral spine. Arms are stretched out in front, head resting. Inhale. On your exhale, trace your right hand up your palm. Forearm, bicep, chest, elbow lifts. Inhale again, and on your exhale, slowly rolling from bottom of rib cage up. Don't let the block knock over. Try to get your shoulder blade onto the earth more than the elbow. In order to get some more rotation or to help in it, bend the left elbow, fingers to the sky. Inhale, exhale, push the left elbow into the earth. Oh yeah, roll the heart. And see if you can get the snaps in your back that I'm getting. Inhale, exhale, push up and rotate. So much warmer now. Open the arms. Pause in that position for a moment. Inhale the hand back up. Grab the cloud off the sky. Imprint it onto your palm. Inhale. Exhale, trace the hand up the forearm onto the chest. Elbow comes up. Move the block out of the way. Use your core to pick your legs up and roll over. Arms come with it. Protract the blade. Inhale. Exhale, draw the hand up. When it's on the heart, pull your core in and roll over. Make it as gentle and elegant as possible. One more time. Inhale, exhale, draw the hand up. When it's on your heart, use your core. Roll yourself over. Onto your side. Let's do the chalk trace. Inhale. On your exhale, take your thumb and index of left hand, take it up overhead. Find that beautiful arcing movement. Stop if your hand leaves the floor. Trace it back up again. Up overhead. Last one. Inhale, exhale, take it up overhead. And just stop position. Inhale, exhale, arms come back. Oh, yummy. Turn on your back, straighten out your legs, take your arms up over your head, reach to the top of the mat, how long your body is. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale, contract every muscle in your body for 3 seconds. Go. 1, 2, 3. Release. Slide your hands down. Grab the side of your mat with your fists. Inhale. On your exhale, push your hands towards your feet. Slide the body up an inch or two onto your mat for your Shavasana. Close your eyes or use an eye bag. Maybe your sweatshirt sleeve, you get the idea, block out some of the light. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. It's a still, calming point. Allow your bodies to start to release into Shavasana. And I know the sound quality is not so great on Zoom, but I want to play Janet's new Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu while you guys are drifting off. Touching the tip of the tongue to the roof, the mouth starts to relax us. Let it release now to the bottom of the mouth. Feel that soft, vacuous mouth. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. See if you can drift off and listen to these beautiful words. Remember, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. I've heard that
mantra chanted so many times, and honestly, not before today did it have so much meaning. Again, with all that's going on in our world, let's see if we can do unto others as we would like to have done to us. Find the marble on the back of your skull. Let your head rock side to side so slowly. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing your physical bodies back to space. When you're ready, bend your knees. Slide your heels towards your buttocks, glue the knees and ankles together, and roll on your right side for your transition position, away from the heart. Think of our words today. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Let's do it. Find those feelings of generosity, of kindness, of altruism, of seva, and all of our lives matter. Inhale, and on your exhale, bring yourself back up to the seated position. Find yourself a comfortable place to close the practice. Touch your hands to the earth, fingertips touch down. We find our grounding. Draw the energy up to your heart center, thumbs to the heart will rise. We pause here at our beautiful hearts. Remembering to be so grateful for all that we have. Inhale, and on your exhale, let your hands float forward, fingertips touch, fingernails touch, hands open like a lotus. Let's draw our sweetness into our hearts, backs of the hands roll, thumbs to heart. Thumbs to third eye, still contemplation point, all-seeing eye, ESP eye, clarity spot. Let's bow to this beautiful world. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful yogis. I'm going to take a week off this week from the workshop Wednesdays, so we'll resume that in a week or so. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for guiding us through the leg release today. And thank you, Jill, again for last week and the hamstring work. I'm grateful for all of you. I will see you again next Sunday. I'll hang out for a little bit now so I can say hi to some of my very favorite humanoids in this whole world. Thanks, guys. Have a beautiful rest of the day.